Do you have your favourite F1 driver's autograph? Do you know what it's worth? And if you haven't got your favourite driver's autograph, would you like to know how to get it? I'll tell you more in just a moment. Let's jump straight into it. How do you get an F1 driver's autograph? These guys aren't out and about too often. They tend to shy away from crowds. So you getting an autograph is never going to be an easy thing. So where do you start? The most obvious place to get a driver's autograph is at the track. But where do you have to be? How do you get there? What do you say? Let's start on media day, Thursday, except for Monaco, which is Wednesday. All of the drivers roll up. They'll be there to do various media engagements and perhaps a track walk. So where should you be? Well, if there's an autograph session on the media day, the Thursday, get into that. Now, I can give you an example here. In China, there may be 3 deep. You go to Monza and have a look at this. They're 20 deep. So if you're going to Monza hoping for an autograph on the media day, I think you're going to struggle. And obviously, if you're looking for a Ferrari driver's autograph, your chances are minuscule compared with, say, you go down the other end of the paddock and get Nicholas Latifi or George Russell. You've got a far better chance at that end. And often, if you've got a 3-day pass, you're allowed into the Thursday media day autograph session. Another great opportunity is at the paddock entrance on any of the 4 days. All of the drivers will arrive early. People often say to me, yeah, what time should I get there? Well, get there as early as you can, because some drivers will arrive, say, 5 hours before the first session starts. Others might come in an hour to 2 hours before. If you're out there for that length of time and you're at the front, you've got a chance of snaring your favourite driver's autograph. If your budget will allow it, get a hospitality pack where you get to go to a box. I did this in 2016, got a Red Bull package, and that included drivers coming up to the suite to have a quick 10-minute chat. And obviously being a Daniel Ricciardo fan at that point, I made sure I got Daniel's autograph and a picture as he was heading out after he'd done the presentation. You could try hanging out at the drivers' hotels, but A, you have to find out which hotel they're at, and B, you'll have to wait a long time. And often they will go in secret entrances and you'll be foiled. So there's no guarantee of that. And they tend to not spend that much time signing autographs unless there's only a couple of you. If there's a crowd of 100 people waiting, forget it. They'll go in a back entrance, they'll go down to the garage and go up in the internal lifts. The other thing I always tell people if you're looking for an autograph is when a driver comes towards you and you're having a chat, this is mainly when you're on your own, don't expect them to stop. Walk with them. They love that because they're not gobbling up their valuable time and they're not seen as sitting ducks, because as soon as a driver stops and other people note, bang, everybody's onto him. Someone like a Kimi Räikkönen, you need to be very quick because he will not stop as a matter of course. And I've often seen people, in particular this instance here in Japan, where he was coming from the hospitality suite to the garage, and this Japanese fan was just screaming, Kimi, Kimi, Kimi. He wouldn't stop. He was just focused on the garage. So time your run right. Don't do it just before quali. They've got more important things to worry about. Sometimes when I arrive into a country the day before a race, I'll see lots of fans at the airport waiting for their driver. I've also seen them on the way out, always before they check in, and obviously once the drivers go through immigration and into the lounge, they're pretty much safe. Now, having said that, I remember going back many years ago in the 90s, I was in Adelaide for the Grand Prix, and I was in the lounge, at the time Ansett lounge, and Michael Schumacher came in, sat right behind me. I was wearing this shirt that you're seeing here. I actually bought it off one of the mechanics because it was the last race of the year. I had a t-shirt underneath it, so I took the shirt off. I waited until Michael was happy to sign it, and then I went over there and I got him to sign that, and also this front page of the Adelaide Advertiser. But importantly, I had a photo taken to show that I was there, and Michael was also there, admittedly a bit grainy in the background. Now, this is important. If you ever down the track want to sell this item, you're going to need to prove that it's authentic because there's a lot of fakes on the market. Pay close attention to what you're asking the driver to sign. If you come across, say, Fernando Alonso and he's driving for McLaren and you roll up with a Ferrari piece of kit and ask him to sign it, I've seen him do this. He will just decline the offer. Oh, and at this point, let me remind you that the best online staff training in the world can be found at Kyndi.com. Hundreds of short, sharp, animated videos designed to help every business. Try it for free now, Kyndi.com. In a second, I'm going to go through all of the drivers' signatures so you can see what you're going to get if you ask a driver for an autograph, as opposed to a selfie. And I should touch on selfies here, that a selfie is something for you. It has no value to anyone else. So if you ever want to sell your picture of you and Daniel Ricciardo, forget it. It's not going to be worth a pinch because you're in it. However, an autograph on a nice piece, whether it be some memorabilia, a helmet, a front page of a newspaper, has some value at some point. But as you'll find out in a minute when I go through the pricing, you're hardly going to get rich off this sort of stuff. I'll tell you a little story. I was in Adelaide in the late 90s and I was at La Casalinga restaurant having dinner, and I was with a friend, and in comes Johnny Herbert, Damon Hill, Jackie Stewart and George Harrison. So I'm sitting at this table thinking, I want an autograph. And I watched for a little bit, and all the other diners around were coming up to the table and asking for an autograph, and every single one of them was turned away. I had nothing for them to sign, but I realised they'd be at dinner for some time. So I got in my car, I went into the city of Adelaide, I got one of the Adelaide Finale posters, and I came back, and then I waited. And I just watched person after person being turned away. So I waited until the very end of the night. I went outside, and as the four guys came out to their car, I said, look, boys, can I just get a quick signature on the way out? Every one of them said yes. And all of the people inside the restaurant were looking out going, how did we miss out and he get it? So be considerate and wait for when it's opportune for them, not for you. So let's go through the 20 current F1 drivers. Let's look at their signatures. Let's look at how you can get autographs. And I'm going to start with the entrance to the paddock because I think that is your best chance. If you can get to the Melbourne Walk, say in Melbourne, it's a great opportunity. If you're in Britain, once again, there's an opportunity there. There's some railing and you stand behind the fence and you wait for all the drivers. And almost all of them will come along and give you a chance. In Italy, great opportunity outside the main entrance to the paddock there where people queue up for hours. Not too busy either. Certainly a lot easier than going into the pit lane on a Thursday. But these people here will get there early in the day, then they'll leave and then they'll come back late in the afternoon and into the early evening for when the drivers leave. And often when the drivers do leave the track at night, they're relaxed. There's hardly anyone around and they're more prone to signing your particular piece. I should say that if you're a general fan, you may come up against professional autograph hunters. People like these who hang around out the front and they have so many photos there and they'll ask drivers to sign them. And I've seen, and I don't know why they do this, drivers will stand there and they'll sign 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And I'm thinking, surely you must realise that these people are professional and these are going to be sold. A couple of times I've seen drivers just say no, and they've obviously with the ones that they recognise, yeah, they don't want to be just adding value to someone else's business. They're more interested in signing it for you and me, genuine fans, if that's the case. Let's go through the drivers one by one, starting with the current world champion, Lewis Hamilton. His signature is worth the most, but even then, you can probably pick something up on the net for a couple of $100 US. That's just a plain photo, no framing. Often, the framing involved of a nice picture is worth more than the actual autograph. So this is Lewis's signature, very short and sharp, a couple of little squirrels. He is very hard to nail down. So if you've got a Lewis Hamilton autograph, they are a lot rarer than, say, a George Russell autograph. Lewis is great with youngsters, and I've seen him on a number of occasions in the paddock when he's on his scooter heading to the garage. He'll see a youngster like this young chap in Singapore, and he will gladly stop for them, more so than he will for a businessman in a suit. I mentioned before that you can pick up a picture signed by Lewis for a couple of $100 US. I have seen a few of these on the net, these mock Bell helmets. They go for about $700 US. Obviously there's a value of the helmet, but it's a more unique piece, and I've been lucky enough to have one with his signature on the top there that I got at a race last year. Next up, Valtteri Bottas. His signature is very quick, and in fact, most of their signatures can be done in less than a second. Sebastian Vettel is very popular as an ex-world champion. People often rush him, but he's great. He will more than happily sign almost anything that's put in front of him, including Carly's wrist. She ended up getting that tattooed, which is a bizarre thing, I know, but she is such a fan. And as you'll see here, she's left a gap here for another star for his 5th world title. I kind of think it's going to stay empty the way things are going. What about his teammate Charles Leclerc? Here's a lovely signature. Goes to a bit of an effort here. You can make out that there's a C somewhere in there. Often you'll find him getting out of the car as he did in Monza here. He knew he was going to have to walk down an alley of people wanting autographs. He's got his own marker pen. And now we'll jump on to Max Verstappen. You'll get more than $100 for a Max autograph. If it's on a helmet like this, you'll get a whole lot more. But you're never going to get rich out of any of this. And if you have a look at these two examples, there is a little bit of difference in the signature there to this one here. When I took this photo back in 2017 and asked Max to sign it, I gave him a copy too for his apartment. He liked the picture. I asked him if he could put a quick note, and I always do that when I get a driver who I've got a couple of seconds with. Could they write something about the picture? Which he was more than happy to do. But as you can see, his autograph here is a little bit longer because he had a little bit more time. His teammate Alex Albon is always happy to sign autographs. He has, as you can see here, a little bit of an ornate signature. There's a bit going on there, although quite frankly, I might be able to make out an A. Next up, Carlos Sainz from McLaren. And you'll buy this autograph on a picture, an 8x12, for around $35. Lando Norris puts his number 4 on his autograph, but Annie Fulton was pretty happy to get Lando's signature on the back of her mobile phone. That's all she had on her when she met him at Spa. Daniel Ricciardo. I have a number of pieces signed by Daniel. I'm pretty chuffed to have them hanging in my office. Often when I see him sign at the autograph sessions, I'll see him with 2 pens in his hand, like this, so that he doesn't have to swap out the pens. This is Zoe Hood. She's a Daniel Ricciardo fan. She got Daniel to write this, resilience, on a piece of paper. Why? Because she went and had it tattooed on her. I think you've got to be pretty keen to be doing that sort of thing. Esteban Ocon, very quick signature here, just some squigglies, and I can make out an E, and I'm sure you can here. Pierre Gasly goes to a bit of an effort, and I think he's probably, apart from one other non-driver I'll go through late in the video, his is the most visible and easily distinguished signature. And he'll often sit in the driver's rooms and just sign lots and lots of those cards that the team gives away. Daniil Kvyat, what's his like? Yeah, it's colourful, bit of flourish to it. Next up, Lance Stroll. Here's his signature here. You can make out there's an L, and then there's something after that. Sergio Perez from Racing Point. This is what his autograph looks like. Next up, George Russell. Have a look at that. Looks like he's drawing circles, and I can't make out too much of that, but perhaps I can make out a G. But his teammate has the most elaborate signature of all, because you get his first initial, the N, and then Latifi, that you can actually read. Now I wonder whether over time Nicholas will revert to a quicker signature, because at the moment he's not signing that many. Kevin Magnussen from Haas. His signature has changed. Here's a picture. Thank you to Kirsten for providing this one from 2018. And here it is more recently, and thank you to Fendy for this. As you can see, there's a little bit of difference there. Kevin's teammate is Roman Grosjean. Here's his autograph. It's a bit of a flourish, isn't it? And once again, only one touch of the pen to paper. Next up, Kimi Räikkönen, hard to get. And a very simple autograph too, not much you can do to make this any simpler. I should mention that Natasha from Russia told me an interesting story about one of her friends who saw Kimi, didn't have anything for him to sign, but she did have a texter. So she pulls the texter out and grabs her passport and says, "Could you sign my passport?" And as you can see, Kimi signed apparently in the marital status page, and Sebastian Vettel is signed in the kids page, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure that ruins that passport for use. She would have to get another passport to travel on. Kimi's teammate is Antonio Giovinazzi. This is what his autograph looks like, and you can see a visible A in that, and a G as well. You probably pick this up on the internet for about $29 US. That's the 20 F1 drivers. Well, there's actually the one more to go, isn't there? Nico Hülkenberg, who drove for one race. This is Nico's autograph down here, and a funny story behind this picture. I'd taken it. I said, "Look, Nico, could you sign that?" And he said, "Yeah, leave it with me. I've got to think of something funny to write." And I thought, okay, because I did ask him to write something on it. And then I get this back, "Making an average photographer look great. You're welcome." And of course, he's graffitied both of their faces, him and his trainer, Martin. Adding that text, I'm not sure what it does to the resale value. Not that I want to sell that, because that's obviously quite a personal piece. But I noticed with Lewis that oftentimes he'll say, "Who do you want this marked to? Hi Kim, hi Bob, hi John." That's because he knows that if you go and sell that, nobody wants to buy "Hi John" if they're not John. And that's one way of perhaps countering people using his autographs to make money. And now the final one I want to mention is Jackie Stewart. Now Jackie has the most elegant signature of anyone I've seen in Formula One. Now that's the picture over my shoulder here. It's the most beautiful signature, and it would take Jackie, I'm thinking, at least 2 to 3 seconds to sign that. So he gives you a lot of his time when he signs something for you. Another tip for you if you're looking to build up a collection of great F1 autographs is to go to the F2 guys. They're often a lot easier to approach. They rarely sign autographs. They're certainly not jaded like perhaps someone who's been in the sport for 10 years, and you might get them now with a more elegant signature than you'll get down the track. I hope you've learned a thing or two about F1 drivers and their autographs. If you have liked the video, I know you'll hit the like button, and I thank you for that. I think there's a lot of you who still haven't subscribed. I'd love to have you on my list of great people who are following this channel. Click the bell button if you want to get notified when videos come up for release. You can see all of my images at prostarpics.com. You can get my F1 driver books at kimillman.com. They are fantastic. And for my best pics and lots of stories, head to Instagram at Kim Illman. Thank you for watching and stay passionate. How difficult can I make this?